or only pretending. In front of others, he loves me as if his life depends on it, and even fights with other men for me. Behind people's backs, he hates me to the core and has a beautiful young mistress outside. He wears a wedding ring with her and calls her darling wife. His brothers all call that girl's sister-in-law. I don't cry or make a fuss. I just silently delete the text messages in which he said he would love me forever. We are each other's first loves and have been entangled with each other for many years. Until I got sick and gradually forgot everything about him. He began to panic. He made romantic surprises for me with all his heart and tried every means to make me better. But he could only watch helplessly as I fell in love with someone else. One in the 7th year when Eli and I loved and fought with each other. He met a woman he truly liked. That girl is called Molly. She is a young actress who has just graduated. She is pure and lovely. The way she smiles is extremely like me when I was young. Friends all say that Molly is my substitute for Eli. It's probably just a momentary novelty. He's just playing around. After all, Eli and I have been on and off for all these years. Everyone has watched. For a person as proud as him, he has laughed and cried for me, and broken his proud bones for me. Everyone knows that he loves me so much that he can't live without me. Suddenly, I remembered the night when we broke up and got back together. Eli tore my skirt and took from me tirelessly. I became as soft as a puddle of mud. In a daze, I heard him whispering in my ear and coaxing me, "Darling, we will be entangled with each other and torture each other for a lifetime." I once thought that Eli would never love another woman as much as he loves me. Until the 3rd year of our marriage. Our relationship broke down. Coincidentally, Molly appeared, too at first. Eli disliked Molly. They were filming in the same crew and playing a couple. Molly is Eli's fan. Every time she holds hands or hugs him, she blushes so much that she can't hide her liking it all. At that time, the relationship between Eli and me was still good. He always told me that he didn't like Molly's starry-eyed look. When Molly wears a cartoon t-shirt, Eli says she is childish and ridiculous. When Molly wears hot shorts, Eli says she is unbearably vulgar. Eli finds everything Molly does annoying. However, perhaps even he himself didn't notice that every time he mentioned Molly, he was smiling. During the time we chatted on the phone every night, he gradually began to be distracted. Most of the time, it was because Molly was so stupid. She always bothered Eli with all kinds of questions. Eli complained, while patiently answering her questions. Before hanging up the phone, I asked Eli, "Tomorrow, can we stop talking about Molly?" He smiled mischievously, and asked me in return, "Darling wife, are you jealous?" While teasing me, he blacklisted Molly's number. Until a few days later, Molly sent a message, a passionate kiss scene with 2 people in love. "I can't sleep tonight. I want to chat all night with the person I like." That night, Eli didn't come to me. When I called him, the line was always busy. I thought that this time, Eli must have really fallen for Molly and been moved. 3 after that night, it seemed that Eli suddenly didn't love me anymore. We started a cold war. He didn't explain or coax me. For a whole month, neither of us talked to each other. Until the day when the filming ended and there was a live interview with the crew. The reporter asked him, "After work is over, what do you want to do most now?" He opened his phone and showed a photo of me wearing an apron and acting coquette asly with him. He said gently with a smile, "Now I miss my wife the most and want to eat the meal cooked by my wife." To some extent, Eli can be considered my patron. Since he doesn't love me anymore, I will hide my true feelings. It's also good to listen to him and earn more money. That night, I cooked a table of delicious dishes. However, Eli didn't come home. I didn't wait for him, and went to bed early. Until midnight. He called me. It seemed that he was drunk and mumbling and acting fly. "Darling wife. Good wife. I miss you so much. Come and pick me up and take me home." He hasn't called me wife for a long time. My eyes became sour. I didn't say a word. His brother teased. Who is the great movie king calling? Is it Molly? They kept shouting into the receiver. Sister-in-law. Today Eli brother made a wish and said that he wants to be with you forever and ever. So, Eli was calling Molly. He called her darling wife, and his brothers followed and called her sister-in-law. He has already brought Molly into his life. Suddenly, I had a terrible headache. I hung up the phone abruptly and buried myself in the quilt and wrapped myself tightly. It doesn't matter. I can pretend not to care. I have always been good at acting. For the news that Eli and I are not on good terms soon spread. People in the circle all say that he has fallen in love with Molly. He takes her to have candlelight dinners, buys her houses and cars, and occasionally rents out the entire amusement park to accompany her to ride the childish carousel. He likes her very much. He likes her so much that he wishes he could give her all the good things in the world. Even that ruby necklace that I really wanted but couldn't get was recently bought back by Eli. I thought he would give it to Molly. But one morning when I opened my eyes, I saw that necklace lying quietly on my bedside. There was a note beside it, which read, "Happy wedding anniversary." It was in Eli's handwriting. I silently crumpled the note and threw it into the trash can. I can't figure out Eli's thoughts anymore. And I don't want to. A few days later, I saw Molly for the first time at a private dinner party. She smiled as soon as she saw me. Staring at my necklace, she said in a soft voice, "A few days ago, Mr. Eli bought me a bunch of jewels. I think this necklace is a bit old-fashioned. So I asked him to give it to you. I knew it. Sister Haley, you are more mature than me. It's just right for you to wear it." Before, Mr. Eli said that he spoiled me like a child. I was still unconvinced. Obviously, I am 22 years old. But compared to Sister Haley, I suddenly feel that I seem too young. I was stunned for a moment and suddenly felt so ridiculous. The gift for our wedding anniversary that I like so much turned out to be something Molly didn't want. Seeing that I was unhappy, Molly smiled even more sweetly. She flipped her hair and continued to show off to me. "Sister Haley, don't be embarrassed if I give you a necklace. Wear it well. Mr. Eli bought me so many things that I can't wear them all. If there is anything else you like, you can tell me and take it and use it casually." I smiled along with her and asked softly, "As long as I like it, will you give it to me?" Molly nodded proudly. I reached out and touched the shining diamond earrings on her ears. Suddenly, I pulled hard and directly tore them off. Molly let out a cry of pain and bent down, covering her ears. Blood seeped out from between her fingers. I looked down at her with lowered eyelids, still smiling, and asked softly, "Thank you for your gift. Can you also give me the other earring?" Molly's pupils trembled slightly. She seemed a little afraid of me. Her blood spattered all over the place, and the people around began to stir. Eli arrived soon after. When he saw the blood on the ground, his expression suddenly became cold and fierce. He pulled me into his arms and checked me up and down. The concern and tension in his eyes seemed real. Molly let go of her hand, and let the blood flow down her ear and drip onto the white dress. She reached out and tugged at Eli, saying softly, "Mr. Eli, I'm in so much pain." Eli raised his arm and dodged her, giving her a cold glance. This glance made Molly freeze on the spot, biting her lip in embarrassment. She didn't understand. Eli came from a wealthy family and had a lover. It was okay to play privately. If it was brought to the surface, it would be too embarrassing. In public, Eli could only love me. His fingers stroked the frown on my brow, and gently coaxed me. "Who made you unhappy?" I didn't speak, and no one dared to speak. 2 seconds later, Eli suddenly picked up the vase beside him and smashed it on the ground. In a fierce voice, he cursed, "Are you all deaf? Who made my wife unhappy? Speak." The atmosphere was oppressively terrifying. Molly clenched her fists and shouted in collapse, "It's me. It's me. It's all my fault. Okay? A lie." She finally couldn't hold it in anymore. With rolling tears, She looked at Eli stubbornly and choked up as she spoke. It's my fault for wanting to be close to Sister Haley but being hated by her. It's my fault for falling in love with someone I shouldn't love. I'd rather be called a mistress and still be with him recklessly. It's my fault for being self-indulgent and thinking he also likes me. It's my fault for being a fool. She held the wine glass in her hand above her head and poured it down suddenly. The wine and blood mixed together, staining the fabric on her chest red. As she cried, she asked Eli, Mr. Eli, is this enough? Has your beloved wife vented her anger? Eli's hand was on my shoulder, squeezing tighter and tighter. He was probably heartbroken. He asked me, have you vented your anger? I was amused by him and laughed until tears were almost falling. I asked Eli, it must be tiring to pretend to love me. Eli, I have a good way that can let you rightfully love the person you want to love. Give me money. I want a lot of money. Then, we get divorced. Eli's eyes grew colder and colder. He lowered his head and whispered in my ear viciously. Haley, I should have seen clearly earlier. You are just a liar who only cares about money. You will die a horrible death for betraying true love. I smiled, endured the headache and pushed him away. Then I turned and left. Eli, you are really a jinx. I haven't told you yet. The doctor said that there is something wrong with my head. It may hurt. I may lose my memory. Or maybe I will die. 7 Eli was right. At first, when I agreed to his pursuit, it was for his money. Before him, I had passionately liked another boy. Eli knew all about it. But he still treated me extremely well and insisted on being with me. From dating to marriage. I still remember that rainy day when Eli proposed to me. We were nestled on the sofa watching a romantic movie. He suddenly leaned close to my ear and murmured softly, Haley, as long as you say you love me, I will marry you immediately. From then on, all my money will be under your control. My heart was pounding so loudly. The words I love you were almost about to jump out of my mouth. But I felt a bit dissatisfied. No one proposes so perfunctorily. So I simply shook my head and deliberately angered him. At that time, Eli was still a shameless thick-skinned person. I don't know where he took out a big diamond ring and grabbed my hand and put it on. I wanted to run. But he simply grabbed my neck and pressed me down on the sofa. He bit my ear and threatened me, if you talk back again, I'll strangle you. That day, Eli's kiss almost melted me. I begged for mercy under him and said many times, Eli, I love you. In the past, I really loved you. But it seems that you have never really believed me. My illness is getting worse day by day. I gulp down handfuls of medicine, but still have a headache so severe that I can't eat or sleep well. Soon, I find myself starting to forget some small things about Eli. My health is getting worse and worse, and the doctor has added a lot of medicine for me. When he leaves, he frowns and asks me, why are you always the only one coming to see the doctor? Where are your family members? Your illness needs the company and care of your family. But I have no family. What should I do? When I was 6 years old, my mother left me on the street. She said she would go buy me candy. Then, she never came back. I thought I would never see my mother again in my life. Until I met Molly in the hospital. The ear that I had torn off her was swollen a lot. She came to change the dressing. Accompanying her was a middle-aged woman. I almost thought I was seeing things. That woman seemed to be my mother. I couldn't control myself and ran towards her. Molly took 2 steps back in fright. My mother protected her and gave me a hard push, pointing at my nose and yelling, "You bitch! Do you still want to bully my daughter?" Suddenly, she grabbed my hair and shouted loudly, "Dare to bully my daughter? I'll beat you to death." She slapped me. I didn't have time to dodge. Blood seeped from the corner of my mouth and tears suddenly fell. It seemed that my mother didn't recognize me. She had long forgotten me. She has another daughter. Her daughter is Molly. 9 in fact. When I was 13 years old, when I was picking up plastic bottles on the street. I accidentally met my mother. She was on the other side of the road, holding Molly's hand, chatting and laughing. She was extremely gentle. I used all my strength to run towards her and shouted loudly, "Mom! Xiao Bao is here. Mom! Don't go." She paused and slowly turned around, looking at me in surprise. Molly tugged at her corner and scolded me in disgust. "Mom! It's a beggar. So dirty. We are all mother's children." But she is wearing a beautiful little skirt and holding a cute plush teddy bear, while I am wearing ragged old clothes and a pair of worn-out dirty cloth shoes. I envy her so much. I refuted in a low voice. "I'm not a beggar. I'm your elder sister." I stretched out my hand and showed an ugly smile, calling her younger sister. Molly suddenly cried. She hid behind my mother and shouted, "Mom!" After her away quickly. "She wants to steal my teddy bear." My mother realized belatedly and pushed me down hard. At that time, just like now, she pointed at my nose and yelled, "Where did this wild child come from? You scared my Xiao Bao and cried. I'll beat you to death." No, Mom. I'm not a wild child. I'm also your Xiao Bao. It's Xiao Bao that you don't want. I didn't cry and shout for my mother like I did when I was 13 years old. "Mom, I'm Xiao Bao." Just like she pushed me away before. I pushed her away hard. She took the opportunity to pull off my mask and fell on the ground crying and shouting. The big star hit someone. Haley hit someone. Molly was stunned for 2 seconds. Suddenly, she also took off her mask and knelt down in front of me, begging me, "Sister Haley, I know you have never liked me. You are more famous than me. Usually, when you hit me and scold me, I can endure it. But my mother is old. Please don't make things difficult for her." Many people took out their mobile phones to film and watch. Molly really put on a good show. I should protect my reputation, cover my face quickly, and leave immediately. But I couldn't control myself and grabbed Molly's hair. I looked into her eyes and said coldly, "You are really a filial good child. Younger sister. Then I won't be polite. I'll repay you as your mother hit me." I picked up my bag and hit Molly in the face again and again. My heart hurts so much. If I can't vent, I will probably find a rooftop and jump off. How can life be so painful? My mother pounced on me and tore at me. Perhaps when she knows that I am the Xiao Bao she threw away, she will never forgive me again. But it doesn't matter. Mom, if you don't want Xiao Bao doesn't want you either. 11. The video of me hitting Molly quickly spread on the internet. Netizens rushed into my space and scolded. "Are you jealous that Molly is younger and more beautiful than you? You hit someone's face so hard. It is recommended to check what Haley's family does. I feel that she is the kind of person who loves to bully others since childhood. At first glance, she is a vicious rich girl who is spoiled by her parents. Molly, don't cry. I know where Haley lives. I'll vent your anger for you." When I saw this comment, I was in the underground garage. I had just parked my car and was about to go upstairs and go home. Suddenly I heard someone call me. "Excuse me. Are you Haley?" I turned around and saw a man carrying a baseball bat. His eyes were fierce and he swung the bat at me. Before I could react, I was suddenly pulled into someone's arms. Eli hugged me tightly. The baseball bat hit him hard on the back. He turned around and kicked that man over, yelling viciously, "How dare you touch my wife? I'll kill you." Eli went crazy and beat the person mercilessly. For a moment, I almost forgot that we were getting a divorce. I still thought that he loved me very much. But I have already forgotten how Eli loves me. 12. Eli hasn't been home for a long time. He came to me for Molly. The house is in a mess. I have a headache every day, and I have no intention of tidying up at all. Eli rolled up his sleeves and started cleaning. He picked up my underwear that I had thrown on the sofa and scolded me with a smile. "Haley, you are really not cut out to be a wife. You really should learn from Molly how to take care of people. She is so obedient. How could you bear to hit her? Apologize to her. She is crying every day. I feel sorry for her. Yes. Because Molly is obedient. So Mother loves her very much. Because Molly is obedient. So Eli also falls in love with her. What about me? Just because I'm not obedient enough. So I deserve to be abandoned by everyone again and again? Suddenly, I was extremely angry and threw all the clothes that Eli had packed onto the ground. Looking up, I quarreled with him. If you want me to apologize to her, you might as well stab me to death. Eli leaned on the sofa, pulled me into his arms, and held my waist so that I couldn't break free. He scolded me with a smile. I knew you wouldn't be obedient. You've never been a good thing. He took out his mobile phone, made a call, and told the film festival jury to remove me from the Best Actress award at the end of the year. I have been in the industry for 10 years. I was nominated for Best Actress for 3 years, and was a runner-up for 3 years. Finally, this year, I will definitely win the award steadily. For this award, I fell down the hillside, got a bloody hole on my forehead, and still insisted on not using a stunt double and finished filming the whole movie. That golden trophy was exchanged with my life. I knocked down Eli's mobile phone. A tear fell on my arm. I scolded him. Don't be so despicable. Eli. He was very calm and put his chin on my shoulder and asked me with a smile, do you want to apologize? Think carefully before you answer. Finally, I couldn't hold it back and cried. I shouted at him, Eli. I'm sick. I can't act anymore in the future. I will never have a chance to win an award again. You love Molly. You want to vent your anger for her. You just hold my weakness. But I won't let her be happy. I won't apologize. Isn't it just a trophy? I don't want it anymore. My tears covered my face. My heart was full of grievances with nowhere to vent. I grabbed Eli's hand and bit it hard. He frowned tightly and endured in silence. When I had cried enough and looked up, Eli's eyes also turned red following me. He held my face and said softly, Haley, rather than saying that I love Molly, it's better to say that I hate you. In the past, I loved you to death. But all you love is my money. You cheated my money to support other men. You are really capable. But if it's to be blamed, it's still my fault for being useless. Obviously knowing that you are best at pretending to be pitiful, I will still be deceived by you and soften my heart. Don't cry. Isn't it just a trophy? Here it is for you. He hugged me into his arms and kissed my ear, as if making a farewell. He spoke slowly, Haley, this is the last time I am kind to you. But this time, Eli deceived me. 13 On the day of the award ceremony, I wore the most gorgeous dress and the most expensive jewelry, wanting to make a glorious curtain call at the end. However, the host read out on the stage, Best Actress, Molly. The posture of me holding up my skirt and preparing to stand up was captured by the media and turned into a joke. Molly held the golden trophy and smiled at Eli. Kokolf Ofly saying, the person I like promised me that if I get the trophy tonight, he will go home with me to see my mother. My mother has made reunion dumplings at home and is waiting for us to go back and eat them. She is so happy. She has everything I want. Mom. Eli. And that trophy that I can never get again. Eli leaned close to my ear and smiled wickedly. He asked me, Haley, how does it feel to be deceived? Is it pleasant? He is taking revenge on me. He has never believed me. He doesn't believe that I love him. Nor does he believe that I am sick. I have a headache again. Looking at Eli for the last time, he began to blur in my eyes, in my heart, and in my memory. I clutched the fabric on my chest and said softly, being deceived hurt so much. Blinking, I asked him, but who are you? 14 I fainted at the award ceremony. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. My agent Linda was arguing with Eli. She pointed at me and stared at Eli sitting on the sofa with deadly eyes. Questioning him, "Where did Haley do wrong to you? Why do you want to hurt her so much?" Eli threw out the photos in his hand fiercely. In the photos, I was held in the arms of another man. Linda was stunned for a moment. Eli asked her with a smile, "Why don't you speak? Are you guilty?" When Haley was hugging and cuddling with another man behind my back. Did she ever think that she was hurting me? When she used my money to send another man abroad for study. Did she ever think that she was hurting me? Linda interrupted him. "Why don't you ask Haley clearly about these things?" Eli sneered twice and said through gritted teeth, "From falling in love to getting married. I chased her like a dog. I took the initiative to apologize and to make up. Now that she is cheating, do I still have to take the initiative to ask her why you don't love me anymore? Is it because I didn't do well enough? Am I so cheap? I, Eli, don't lack women. There are many who can sweet talk and coax. She, Haley, is the first one who dares to deceive me. She deserves to die." Before Eli finished speaking, suddenly someone pushed open the door of the ward and strode in, punching him in the face. The man moved his wrist and looked down at Eli, speaking slowly. "Let me introduce myself. I am Hannah. I am the first man Haley likes." 15 Eli instantly recognized that Hannah was the man in the photo who was holding me. He is also the one I spent money on to send abroad for study. In the blink of an eye, the two men in suits were engaged in a brawl. Linda shouted anxiously, "Eli, that's enough. Hannah is Haley's attending doctor." He hugged Haley because on that day when Haley found out she was sick, she was almost scared to death. She called you crying. But because you had a quarrel with her the day before, you hung up her call. Where were you when she needed you the most? What right do you have to lose your temper here? Eli was stunned for a moment. In that moment of stunned silence, he was kicked over by Hannah. He sat on the ground in a state of decadence and murmured, "When did Haley call me?" He didn't know that I had called because on that day, Molly answered the phone for him. At that time, I broke down and cried, just wanting Eli to come home and accompany me. But I heard Molly laughing at me on the other end. "Sick? You deserve it." She hung up the phone. I held my phone in a daze for a long time and didn't call back. Eli is a person who attaches great importance to privacy. In the past, only I could touch his cell phone. Later, Molly could also play with it casually. I know that I am no longer Realize only one. He is distracted in love. I can't forgive him. From that day on, I slowly made a plan for revenge. 16 The first thing I did when I woke up was to grab the corner of Hannah's clothes. Frowning, I scolded him angrily. "Hannah, you bandit. Why are you fighting with others again?" Hannah and I grew up together in the orphanage. We are childhood sweethearts. He has been the most fierce fighter in the orphanage since he was a child. 9 times out of 10, the reasons for fighting are for me. Hannah's fist was injured. I asked him, "Does it hurt?" Eli stepped forward, held my wrist, and pulled my hand off Hannah's clothes. With a smile, he looked at me coldly and asked hold back his anger. "Haley, who are you concerned about? Your man is here." I looked at him, slowly pulled back my hand, and asked in reply, "Am I married?" Eli's expression changed. He put his hand on top of my head and rubbed it twice. Smiling, he said, "You're tricking me again. Haley, have you had enough of those tricks of cheating and deceiving you learned in the orphanage?" "Not enough. Of course not enough. Who let me be Haley with a belly full of bad intentions?" 17 Linda threw my examination report to Eli. "My illness will selectively forget some people and some things. Eli can't accept it. I remember Linda. I remember Hannah. And I remember many and important people and things. But I only don't remember everything about him. He doesn't believe that I am really sick. He has found countless expert teams to examine me. The results always disappoint him. He guards in front of my bed all night. Sometimes I can hear that he seems to be crying. I opened my eyes and saw him sitting on the sofa. holding my notebook in his hand. In that notebook, it is written about the whole story of Eli's change of heart. March 20, 2023. Hannah's first thing after returning to the country is to call me to have a physical examination. When I was young, I always had a headache. Hannah said that he would become a doctor in the future and definitely cure my headache. He has finally completed his studies. I am happy for him. But it's so annoying. I am so afraid that I am really sick. I am not afraid of death. I just can't rest assured about Eli. He is such a clingy person. He will definitely cry at that time. How distressed I will be. March 23, 2023. I got the examination report. The result is not good. Alas. I said I wasn't afraid. But in the end I still collapsed. I called Eli crying. The person who answered the phone was the leading actress in his new play. It seems to be called Molly. She is very sweet looking. But her mouth is very poisonous. She said I deserve to be sick. She should like Eli. So she hates me. March 24, 2023. I asked Eli, how is it filming with Molly? He talked about a lot of Molly's shortcomings. He observes Molly very carefully. He knows that she likes Sailor Moon, likes to drink milk tea, and likes to wear super shorts with black stockings. I am a little angry. Eli seems to like Molly, but he doesn't know it himself. I hope I am just overthinking. March 26, 2023. I ate very delicious boiled fish today. Eli likes spicy food. I said I would take him to eat it when he comes home. Suddenly he started mentioning Molly again. He said that he also ate boiled fish at noon. Molly saw it and asked him if it was spicy. He deliberately said it wasn't spicy and picked up a piece for Molly to taste. As a result, Molly was not sure what this means. It was very funny. Is it very funny? But why am I so sad? April 3, 2023. These days, Eli called me, but I didn't answer. April 4, 2023. I went to the hospital for treatment today. At the most painful time, it was Hannah who accompanied me. But I was very disappointing. I thought of Eli. At night, I saw Molly. She said that Eli kissed her. They will chat all night tonight. I called Eli. Sure enough, the line was busy. I wanted to tell him that I was sick today. Forget it. Anyway, his heart is not with me anymore. April 28, 2023. He didn't look for me. And I didn't look for him either. It's good. From now on, just treat him as an ATM and make do with it. May 8, 2023. Eli has finished filming. He said he misses his wife and wants to eat the dishes made by his wife. But I don't remember what he likes to eat. Recently, I always feel that everything about Eli in my mind is being erased little by an eraser. I looked through the chat records and saw that he likes spicy food and boiled fish. I made it for him according to the tutorial and even burned my hand. As a result, Eli didn't come home at all in the evening. He called in the middle of the night and mistook me for Molly. He called me wife one by one. His brothers also joined in and called Molly's sister-in-law. Originally, the person he was thinking of is Molly. He wants to eat the dishes cooked by Molly. So annoying. I don't want him anymore. Eli closed his notebook. Seeing that I was awake, he smiled gently. He is unshaven now, and really not good-looking. I advised him. Don't come tomorrow. Our relationship is not good. There's no need to act as if you love me very much. Don't you like that, Molly? Prepare for divorce. I'll make room for her. Eli pinched my face and shook it. He refuted me a little angrily. Who said I like Molly? I, Eli. Love only Haley. Remember this. Before, I was deliberately trying to anger you. When I saw you hugging Hannah, I was so angry that I went crazy. Before I was with Eli, I had told him that I had someone I liked. Eli said it was okay. He just saw that I was short of money and came to give me money. He asked me to treat him as a sugar daddy. A kind of sugar daddy who is especially caring. Later, Hannah got an exchange opportunity abroad. That was the first time I had the nerve to borrow money from Eli. He agreed very readily, and didn't ask me what the money was for. Until some time ago, following that hugging photo, he thoroughly investigated my past with Hannah. In fact, we are just two orphans who depend on each other. If there is anything to say, it's probably that I loved Hannah. And he said that I deserve someone better. Eli humbly apologized to me. It's my fault. I wronged you without finding out clearly. Darling, let's not get divorced. I will definitely find someone to cure you. When you remember, you can beat me and scold me as much as you want. But there is one thing. Haley, you can't forget me. Please don't forget me. I beg you. His eyes were red, looking rather pitiful. I suddenly laughed and asked him, although I don't remember you. But Eli, I think it's not that you didn't find out clearly. Instead, you have never really trusted me. Because I am an orphan. I grew up in an orphanage. I have no one to take care of or teach me. So while you love me, you look down on me and think I am naturally despicable and dirty. Eli's expression became painful. He argued, no. And I just stared at the ceiling and calmly told him, Eli, what can be forgotten is not important. I don't want you anymore. 19 when I said I wanted a divorce. Eli just thought I was a child having a tantrum. He took me to the restaurant I loved to eat and walked on the trail, Ind road we used to like. He told me over and over again the little things that I loved him and he loved me before. But I still couldn't remember anything. On a summer evening, Eli took me to the park we used to go to often. He chose a place with few people and sat there to enjoy the cool. He opened a bottle of cold soda water and handed it to me, smiling and saying, your favorite. Lemon flavor. I didn't take it. I shrugged and said, I don't like lemon now. I don't like this place anymore. He was stunned for a moment. His expression was a little lonely. He carefully asked me, what do you like now? I'll buy it for you next time. I looked down at my phone. It was getting late. Hannah was coming to pick me up to go to a concert. He walked over from the end of the trio and rode and waved at me. In his hand was my favorite berry soda. Eli's eyebrows immediately wrinkled. When I wanted to get up, he grabbed my arm and wouldn't let me move. Don't go. Haley. Don't go with him. He seemed to be able to repeat only these few words. I warned him. Eli. You can't interfere with my personal freedom. I said I wanted divorce. You don't want to. You said that when you close your eyes, you can see our beautiful memories from before. But I don't remember those memories. You shouldn't kidnap me with your memories. I want to continue my life without you. Besides, the past was not all beautiful. I pried open Eli's fingers. He was panicked like a child afraid of being abandoned. He stood up following me and walked step by step behind me. Hannah didn't even look at him. He just held up a small pink fan and blew on my damp bangs and sweaty nose. He knew that I was most afraid of the heat. When Eli saw the ticket in his hand, he came to stop me again. Haley. This band is too noisy. You can't stand it. Let's not go. Okay? I'll play the piano for you. Hannah was not satisfied. He suddenly lost his temper. He pushed Eli away and scolded coldly. Don't pretend to be a lover. You don't know shit. You think everything she likes is all what you like. Let me tell you. She hates quietness. Hates summer. Hates sultriness. Hates sparks. Hates lemons. Hates pianos. Now. She also hates you. 20 that night. I sang loudly with my favorite band, Goodbye, Youth. When I woke up the next day, I found myself on the hot search. The topic Haley's marital infidelity was hanging at the top. In the video of the marketing account, I was holding a beer and putting my arm around Hannah. Molly secretly posted a message and scolded me, saying, so dirty. The picture was a rotten cabbage with the words, A woman who doesn't love herself is like a rotten cabbage. Eli then posted several animated pictures. They were the side views of me he took not far away at last night's concert. Each one was smiling particularly freely. He said, "It was a misunderstanding. I was also there last night. It was the first time accompanying my wife to a concert. She was as happy as a rabbit that ate berries. Jumping around and extremely lovely. Only then did I find out that she likes liveliness, likes singing, and likes laughing aloud with the crowd. Shall we go to concerts in the future? Wife. From now on, let me like what you like." I didn't know that Eli had been behind me all last night. He me and wanted an answer. I didn't reply. The public opinion instantly reversed. Netizens rushed into Molly's account and scolded. "The King dynasty has ended. Take off your foot-binding cloth and wash it." Normal friends. Just because they got excited at a concert and put an arm around each other's shoulders, they become rotten cabbages? In the behind-the-scenes footage of the drama crew, you lean on Eli every day and touch him all the time. Sis. Are you engaging in workplace sexual harassment? This sis stole Hailey's grand prize, and that's not all. When she debuted, she came out under the name of Little Hailey. Then she issued announcements saying she is young and beautiful, implying that Hailey is old. She's such a green tea. Do Hailey's fans have a problem? Have they forgotten how your master bullied our Molly before? What's wrong with calling her a rotten cabbage? If it were me, I'd throw sulfuric acid on her. 21 at noon. I posted a short essay. I explained in detail the relationship between Hannah and me. Starting from when I was an orphan, I wrote about how he protected me before. How my mother abandoned me. How my mother pushed me away again and again for Molly. And why I lost control of my emotions and hit Molly. The accompanying picture is a yellowed photo. In the photo, my mother is holding me and neither of us is smiling. Molly took my mother to participate in a reality show. After enthusiastic netizens compared, they found that her mother is my mother. All of a sudden, the internet exploded. Everyone rushed into Molly's account platform and cursed her mother as a legal offender. Molly immediately closed her account platform. 2 days later, my mother posted a long article on her own account platform, saying that she did have a daughter who got lost because of her playfulness in the past. After her daughter got lost, she cried every day and countless times wanted to take her own life out of self-blame. It was Molly's birth that gave her the hope to live on. Molly is the purest angel and her most precious treasure. As for me, if I am really her daughter, she didn't expect that I would grow up to be an adult full of lies. She is extremely remorseful, and also very distressed about me. It's because she didn't fulfill her responsibility as a mother. If I am not her daughter, she hopes I can tell her where my photo came from. She misses her child. She wants to hug her and say to her, "I'm sorry. Mom is late." I silently turned off my phone. So hypocritical and disgusting. In fact, it has been a long time since my mother abandoned me. It is almost impossible to punish her legally. But it doesn't matter. Allah is eager to win back my heart. He will solve all the people I hate for me. 22 in the next few days. Molly's black materials were suddenly exposed frequently on the internet. Before she debuted, she slept with company executives. Secretly, she called fans idiots. She had on-set affairs with many male celebrities. Also, Molly's mother was taken away for investigation because of privately gathering people. She called me Xiaobao sentence by sentence. Save mom. Ask your husband to save mom. Molly called him but he didn't answer at all. Mom has been looking for you for many years. Finally, I found you. Mom hasn't had a chance to be good to you yet. Xiaobao. Mom misses you so much. Don't you miss mom? You can't just stand by and do nothing. I'm your mom. I quietly listened to her crying and wailing on the phone and said softly, "Mom, Xiaobao is already dead. You should die with her and go to hell to accompany your Xiaobao." I hung up the phone with a smile. Eli leaned on the sofa, closed the book in his hand, and asked me, So happy? He tried his best to pretend to be calm, but the uneasiness in his eyes and brows, like an anxious little dog seeking rewards, still betrayed him. He pulled me to sit beside him, leaned tiredly on my shoulder, and with a bit of begging, begged me, "Haley, I will be very, very good to you. So good that you will fall in love with me again. Okay? Don't leave me and don't like others." 23 Time passed quickly and 3 months had passed. I still pretended to be deaf when I mentioned divorce. The good news is that my condition has finally stabilized. I have treatment once a month. That day is definitely the most headache-inducing day. Eli drives me to the hospital. Hannah is waiting at the door. He opens the car door and helps me get out. We walk side by side to take the elevator. Eli will definitely catch up and cleverly stand between us. The two big men are by my ears, saying one sentence after another, afraid that one of them will say one less word than the other. They are so noisy that I wish I could slap them both to death. I took out a candy from my pocket, stuffed it into Hannah's mouth, and blocked his words in his stomach. He is smug, biting that candy, and showing off to Eli. Eli pulls me and asks a bit petulantly, "Is there any more? I want to eat one too." Actually, there are many more. I turned around and smiled at him, saying embarrassed lie, "They are all for Hannah. He has several surgeries in the afternoon. I'm afraid he'll have low blood sugar." A look of loneliness flashed across Eli's face, but then he cheered up and smiled. He reached out and ruffled my hair. He praised me. "My wife is so considerate. Just like before. Such a good wife. I will never give her to others. Haley, you will definitely get better. We will get better too." I was silent. In the elevator with only 3 people. This silence was particularly lonely. I had been waiting for Eli to run out of patience and willingly divorce me. But unexpectedly, this day suddenly came. The moment the elevator door opened, I saw Molly holding a fruit knife and suddenly rushed in. She was disheveled and looked like a crazy person, shouting, "All of you die." Molly's reputation was completely ruined. Brand parties canceled their contracts with her one after another. She paid off the liquidated damages and became bankrupt. She should be crazy too. I was quick-eyed and quick-handed. I turned around and pulled Hannah to dodge. Only Eli was left. He maintained the posture of wanting to protect me and was stabbed in the shoulder by Molly's knife. The chaos came too quickly and suddenly. By the time everyone reacted, Eli had already fallen to the ground. His eyes were always on me. I saw the light in his eyes. The light that had always firmly believed that I love him. Extinguished. 24 Eli and I divorced by agreement. He gave me a lot of money. Of course. I accepted it all. He was unfaithful during marriage. This is what I deserve. On the day I saw Eli at the Civil Affairs Bureau, he looked extremely haggard. I heard that the knife wound from Molly stabbed a crucial part. His heart was seriously injured, and it will take a lifetime to recover. I didn't care about him. I don't want to do unnecessary things. In fact, I'm quite worried that he will repent halfway and not want a divorce. Going to court is too troublesome, and I may not necessarily get so much money. But he just silently lowered his head, signed, and pressed his fingerprint. When we parted, Eli seemed to summon up courage and looked at me for the last time. He wanted to smile at me, but tears suddenly fell down. The divorce certificate was clutched in his hand and wrinkled into a ball. I saw him open his mouth as if to say something. I didn't want to hear it. I waved to him, said goodbye, and turned and got into Hannah's car. In the rear-view mirror, Eli's figure grew farther and farther away. Hannah scolded me with a smile. The most poisonous is a woman's heart. I also smiled. I will love someone wholeheartedly. Of course. I will also hate someone by any means. Eli. I have a secret that I will never tell you. I lost my memory. I pretended. I pretended. I pretended. I pretended. I pretended. I pretended.